Oh, hello. Well, this is Mr. Burns. Smithers, get me my favorite podcast on the line, will you? Mouse and Weens.
Hello, you have reached Mouse and Weens podcast. This is episode 82 of season 3. Today we're going to talk about being frustrated as a mom with your kids and a crazy story that happened. We will also talk about near-death experiences. It sounds bad, but it's actually really interesting. And we'll get into some celebrity stories that go nowhere. They're the best. Please check out www.mouseandweens.com for our show notes. That's where we put all of our links. We also have a Patreon on which you can get these same episodes without ads for a mere $5 a month. We do want to say thank you to all of our listeners. We love hearing back from you. We appreciate all the content that you're sending us. And just know that you are why we are doing this, and we appreciate your support. All right, let's get started on this fun episode, and we'll talk to you soon.
Mouse and Weens, and a 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 mouse and Weens, mouse and Weens, and a mouse and Weens, mouse and Weens.
Hey!
Hi.
It's Mouse and Weens. Hello.
It is.
It's us.
How is everyone?
Great. I am everyone. My name is Joelle. I'm Joe. I'm Mouse. I'm the mom one down in San Diego. Over there.
I'm Weens, and I'm over in Los Angeles, and I'm the single one in the film business, which is not happening at the moment.
Yeah, nothing yet.
Yippee!
Huh? What is the status?
I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention, except that I talked to my friend last night, who is Scott Barron, and he's a medic. And he's a writer, actually. Yes.
Do you yell that every time you see him?
No. Who yells that? What does that mean?
It's just in every movie. It's like someone gets hurt and you have to yell for a medic. I don't know.
Really?
Maybe that's just a me thing. Nobody does that.
No, and nobody says, you kept saying, you confused my friend, Jennifer Martin, which we just had on, saying you wanted her to say Bobcat because she's from Boston. And nobody understood what you were saying. You know, Bobcat.
Yeah.
You were trying to make her say bar cart.
I don't understand why nobody knows what that is. We decorated our house, and I was big into all the decorating magazines, and everybody had a bar cart. They're very fancy little carts. You push your drinks around and your snifters and your ice holders and things like that, bottles of gin, so you can be very madmen. So bar cart. I thought everyone knew what a bar cart was. And that's the
It was just
perfect
really funny.
couple of words for her to say. So, yeah, sorry.
Yes. Well, there you go. I guess in the upper echelons of the Bobcat world, you would know that a little more. No, I get it. And yes.
Keep going.
I'll continue.
I was just going to say, Jen is great for having done our podcast, and she followed up with some interesting stuff about the school thing, which was nobody knows what's going on still. I was just going to finish with that because it was a big cliffhanger that she was going to go to the board meeting.
She was going to the Board of Education meeting, and apparently nobody knows anything. I think this is the same with the film business. To wrap up that,
right,
is people are trying, and nobody seems to know what the heck to do. They're in the film business. They're throwing around the idea, apparently, that they want to do 10-hour days, which I doubt will really happen.
What are the
but
days
there's something
now?
called, whatever. They want to film their average 15 to 16 hours, maybe, on most of the shows. Yeah.
So they're calling for fewer hours. That's good.
If they're actually going to do that, I doubt that they'll stick to it. They're claiming that will help keep people less sick. Because it's true. If you're sick, you show up to work. And if you don't, it's one of those, you have to be like on death's door to not work. The film business is a giant machine.
Yeah.
So they don't like you to be sick. Anyway, I hope that's the case. And some films do it. They call it French hours, and you work less hours. So 10 would be the time, and then they deliver your lunches in little boxes, and you eat on set. So you kind of eat while you're standing up kind of thing.
Wow.
And you just push on through so you can go home earlier. And I would rather have that than a 1 hour or half an hour break but that's the former buffet style will go away our craft service.
Oh,
Oof.
no.
So all those people are going to have to think about getting new jobs. This is scary.
Right. I know. You think about all the support that goes into it, and not just the
Yeah.
actors and the immediate crew. Right. That's
Just
tough.
everything. It's sad. All the mom and pops, and there's people who are buying houses. I just went to a little 4-person, my little group of Friday night gang of 4 that we meet outside. We sit and we eat, and a couple of the girls had friends that have just packed it all in and bought houses other places. 2 bought one in Oregon and 1 bought one in Colorado, and people are just moving.
Just
So-
up and leaving. I know. I'm hearing about
Yeah.
that more and more too. Yeah.
in
Boy,
cities especially, yeah.
it's crazy. Well, especially when, you're in a pandemic epicenter like LA or kind of anywhere in California, I guess, right now, right?
Yeah.
Everything's
How's it
shutting
feeling
back
there?
down.
Does it feel fairly normal in a weird way where you are? Because
Yeah,
it's
it-
not the
it-
city.
It does. It's like we did a distance baby shower. Everybody had their masks on and we did a little drive-by. But then, you get a little loose and just kind of take off the masks and eat and drink a little bit and stand far away from each other. So that was going on. And then it does
All right,
start
now
to
let
feel
me
like
ask you a
normal.
real question.
Mhm.
Were you really social distancing, or do you get pretty close anyway? How loose did you get?
Well, I feel comfortable with his family, so we were close. And then the people who joined in would sit a bit away. But then it's also like,
It's human nature to get close.
I
That's just what I
know. Yeah,
realized.
I
You
know.
don't really, like we do sometimes a hike in the morning at 5 a.m. Good Lord.
yeah.
I
Oh,
have only
God.
joined a few times. I know, it's crazy. So, and then everybody wears their masks. There's probably, 5 people on average, and everyone tries to, but then you start, you just end up getting closer as you're talking, and you notice that you're close and you try to move away, but it's really hard to consciously stay that far apart.
Yeah.
I'll
I
just
know.
say. Some people are really good at it.
I do kind of just assume that if we're outside, the air and the wind is going to blow my particles away if there are any, and just hope for the best. I know. It's a tough thing to do. So I guess the best is just totally stay home. But then you go crazy. Then there's the mental stuff.
I'm
So-
going a little crazy, I must say. I'm getting to that point again. I'm a little. You're actually going more crazy than I am, and you have people around. The other night when I called you, you were going nuts. What were you on? What was happening?
It was a complete role reversal. You're like, Joelle, focus. Just answer the question. What are you talking about? I was
trying to ask you one question. We're going to have a wonderful interview coming up.
I'm so excited about our interview.
Okay, you explain what it is.
Nellie Olson.
Nellie Olson from Little House on the Prairie, the character of Nellie Olson.
Yes.
Allison Arngrim.
It's Allison Arngrim. She played Nellie Olson. And you know how I'm obsessed with my Little House on the Prairie. I didn't know this, but there's a term for people obsessed. They're called bonnet heads. I guess I'm a bonnet head.
Joe.
Did you know that?
You're a bonnet head and a Coldplay fanatic. But I was so excited. My friend Steve Peterson is amazing, and he is friends with Allison. So he was the one that I said, do you think she'd do an interview? And she said yes, and I'm so excited.
I know.
But what happened the other night is that I called Joelle and I said, hey, her public relations person, Harlan, called me and wanted to schedule a time. And I said, give me 5 minutes. Let me talk to Joelle Mouse. And I called you. And you were like talking about 20 other things. I couldn't get you to focus. I'm like, I have to call him back in 5 minutes. Just, can we settle on a date and a time? It's like, please, what the hell are you? Focus. What are you doing? What was wrong with you?
Nothing
I
was
still
wrong
don't know.
with me. I was so excited to talk to an adult. I think Dave has been going back to work, and I'm home with the kids. And besides seeing my buddy Carla, she's our quarantine family bubble person, I really don't see a lot of adults. I need to get out more.
You're
I'm
crazy.
sorry.
It's happening.
It is happening. I understand how people go crazy. I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I pulled it together. We have a time, and now we're all set up. So now we're going to do our proper research for the interview.
We're going to record this on July 16th on next Thursday. So whatever date this is, it will come out, I don't know, a few days after.
Yeah.
So,
Or we may bump this around. Who knows? Because we have a bunch of stuff lined up. I'm so excited.
yay.
Yeah. So
What else is happening? Tell me about your life. Tell me about your craziness. What do you want to discuss?
I would like to discuss the fact that my mom guilt is at level red right now. I'm feeling so bad for being somewhat inattentive. Although this week is better because the kids have camp. I did sign them up for outdoor camp. They're going on little sailboats and stuff in groups of 5. I feel like everything I have to qualify with how distant we are. We're doing it right, everybody, just so you know. But anyway, it's this aquatic center, and they get to do stand-up paddleboard and catamaran sailing and little sailboat sailing. And it's cool. So
That's cool.
Kayaking. I feel like that's safe, right? I mean, gosh.
Yeah, I think so. I think
We
it's
have
a
to get back
real
to
low chance.
some sort of life here. So anyway, this
Yeah.
week is good. They're finally active, but all summer so far they've been playing on computers and just laying around watching TV. And then I'm doing so much podcast stuff. I'm trying to get us back on track and get more scheduled and weekly. And it's just a lot of work and it's hard. And Dave has gone back to work because he focuses better there. His office is real big and spaced out, so he feels safe. And anyway, so I just had been having some crazy days. So one day, here's my big story. We Charlotte got invited to go to a friend's birthday party at the beach. It was her and one other little friend. And I opted not to have her drive with the family to take her to the beach because it was still kind of like, if I have chances that I can keep her from breathing everybody's air, I will. So I'm like, I'll drop her off at the beach and then she can hang out with you from there. So we had a tight time. I'm like, okay, everybody get in the car. I was taking the boys to the beach too. We're going to be ready in the car at this time. I got to go do this thing. I'll be right back. And I came back. Nobody was ready. They were just like zombies sitting on their screens. It's crazy. So I'm starting to yell, I'm like, we're going to be late. Get in the car. We finally are on our way to the car. Then they announced they forgot to eat first. They were supposed to have had lunch.
This is what always happens with these little
right?
Twinkaloo's.
I know. So they're, 13 and 14. They can definitely make their own lunches. Charlotte's 9, but, she's even more responsible than they are. So we have to go through drive-through. So we're going through drive-through. I set one of the lemonades on the middle console, and then I drive off, and I think I assumed the kids had grabbed it, and they hadn't. It slid right into my back seat and splooshed all over my car.
Oh, no.
A huge,
nice and sticky.
large, sticky lemonade. Yeah, all over my car, and I just cleaned it out. I was just getting it all nice and ready for my little driving.
First world problems.
I know.
Just kidding.
I know. Well,
I'm just kidding.
Yes, I know. But can we all relate? Have you ever spilled anything and gotten really mad?
No, it's the worst. Yes. And I was
So-
just kidding about that comment, but I like to say it
troll.
sometimes 'cause I feel
Jeez.
cocky.
Mix
But yeah,
it up.
it's the worst.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So I should have just been like, God, say my swear word, move it along. What did I do? I turned around and I slapped Elliot's knee really hard, like it was his fault. And it wasn't his fault, but it was like this weird, quick reaction of like, you were supposed to have grabbed that. And he didn't, and he watched it fall. He was like, Mom, the lemonade fell. But he just sat there and watched it instead of scooping it up really fast. I'm like, well, pick it up. And I slapped him. And then I felt
That's called
really
child
bad.
abuse.
I know.
Just kidding.
God, coming
I'm
at
just
me.
kidding. I'm sorry I'm hot. I'm sitting with a wool blanket in like a 95-degree apartment. I had to turn off my air conditioning.
First world problems.
First world problems. Shut up.
Just
All
kidding.
right, I'll give you that.
Oh, so then I'm
Yes,
feeling
guilt.
awful the whole way home or the whole way to the beach.
Did he cry or?
No, but he was pissed. And then we were just kind of going at it the whole time. And finally I calmed down and I said I was sorry. But then we got there and everyone was in a bad mood. It was just a whole bad thing. And I was like, we're not going to the beach. That's it. I'm taking you boys home. And I just decided, and I marched Charlotte up to her little birthday party and was like, here, take her. No, I'm kidding. But I was originally going to stay and just make it a day, and I didn't. I was just all huffy. It was stupid. So and then I agreed to have them take her home, which kind of doesn't make sense, but whatever. And then I changed my mind. We drove down the street a little ways, and then I'm like, okay, boys, we're already all the way out here. Go ahead. Let's go to the beach. So we went in the ocean. Worked it out. Everybody had a better day. It was good. We got back in the car later. I'm driving home right? Getting back on the freeway. Luckily, my hands were at 10 and 2. I'm in the right-hand lane about to get off on an exit. And up ahead of me, probably about 3 car lengths ahead of me, I see this long thing, end over end, flying through the air. And couldn't really tell what it was. It almost looked like a little drone, a helicopter or something. And it was getting bigger and bigger. It was coming at me. It was a shovel that presumably fell off the back of a work truck. And a car must have hit the tip, when it's like sticking up, like in the slapstick comedies and Laurel and Hardy step on it and it hits the guy. And it was end over end flying at me, just like in the movie, was it Twister? When
the cow comes at the car windshield.
Yeah. It was coming right at me, bigger and bigger.
Oh, no.
And it was like, and in my head, this is it, like life slowed down for half a second. And I'm thinking, if I make a huge, swerve the car to my right, I could hit a car next to me. I didn't know if I was clear or not. It could also send my big old Suburban end over end, right?
Rolling.
Rolling because it's so tall and I have to be careful. So somehow I kept my wits about me and I kind of like just slowly swerved out of the way and it nicked the whole side of my car.
No.
Yeah, it went, thump, thump, like hit my car.
Ooh.
But it would have hit me straight in the windshield, straight at my face.
Holy crap.
And Toby was in the front seat with me. Yeah. So we barely, and I looked at it later, and it must have been the wooden handle end that hit the car because it's like the tiniest little scratch that I think I can buff out. Yeah. And I mean,
gosh.
it was so flipping scary. So,
whoa.
it was the end of an awful day.
What just happened?
But it could have been worse. So, yeah, it was good. And Dave was like, what's the car look like? What happened to the car?
Oh, no.
I was like, I mean, I guess he knew I was fine because I was standing there telling him the story, but still, I'm like, come on, don't care about the car.
It's such a dude thing to say.
Such a dude thing. We just bought this car, so I got it. But,
oh, no.
Anyway, so that was my big near-death experience. How about you?
That's one of those, this too shall pass. That was just a bad day altogether.
Oh, my God, totally. And then we started calling it, Alexander and the Terrible, Awful, No Good, Very Bad Day, like the book or the movie. That was ours. We were trying to name it appropriately. And so, but that's good because
you made it.
Nothing compares to that awful day and we're good. Yeah. So.
That's perfect, Joe. You did it. You made it out.
Yes.
And you're still friends with the kids and you apologized to the son.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the mom guilt that you were feeling?
Well, yeah, exactly. So it's just being pent up with everybody and the slightest thing goes wrong and then you just fly off the handle and it doesn't feel good. I hate that. I think it's also that I'm not working out like I should be. I fell off my workout wagon with my gym closing and I thought I could run and do all the things and I'm just not good at it without my little accountability system. And so I'm kind of laying around and I'm enjoying sleeping in. It's great. But I am getting the little COVID chub going, so I'm starting to run again and I'm starting to feel better. Yeah, it's just kind of like creeping up, the waistline and the thick neck. The old
bread baskets.
The old Michael Landon neck. No, I don't know.
Who Michael Landon.
I have Little House on the Brain.
Little House on the Prairie.
Who's got a chubby neck? Who's got a good neck you can think of?
Me. I've also got a neck like that. I looked at my arms. I'm like, those are like loaves of bread. Like there's no definition anymore. So I just call them my loaves now.
Animal or mineral? Bigger than a loaf of bread or smaller?
I know. It's weird, but it happens.
But you're hiking all the time and riding your bike like no other.
Yeah, half an hour on flat river surfaces.
Really? See, I picture you like Forrest Gump, that you just ride in the morning, you come home. Going. Then you go ride again in the afternoon. No?
Sometimes, but it's been so flipping hot lately. Have you noticed?
Yeah, super hot. It's super hot.
Yeah, it's made the motivation a little less than interesting.
I know.
What? Hello? That didn't make sense.
We're sponsored by the Homeschool Buyers Co-op. Keeping my kids busy and on track with school has been overwhelming. There are a million choices online. That's why I'm so excited to find the Homeschool Buyers Co-op.
They've done the work for me, researching and listing the best curriculum organized by grade level. And because of their large buying power, I get up to 90% off retail prices. They even have classifieds for used materials. So visit homeschoolbuyerscoop.org and use referral code WEENS to sign up for free and get 5,000 smart points towards your purchase. That's homeschoolbuyersco-op.org, referral code WEENS. Have fun.
Hey friends, we're the girls at Unpredictably Us podcast. I'm Athena.
And I'm Christy. We're two friends that are running through life's unpredictable obstacles to see how well we achieve or fail those crazy moments.
We know a life without some living in it won't provide a story worth telling.
So grab some coffee, maybe wine, and buckle up because we're going on another adventure.
You can sit with us on Wednesday.
Welcome to Unpredictably Us podcast.
Hi, I'm Sunny Hepburn.
And I'm Brandy Fleeks.
And this is Book of Lies, the podcast, where we discuss liars, cheats, and thieves,
Scammers and dirty rotten scoundrels.
So tune in for new episodes every Tuesday to hear about another low-down dirty liar.
And learn how to spot them.
So that's Book of Lies podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast player or on Twitter at Book of Lies Pod, on Instagram at Book of Lies Podcast, and on Facebook at Book of Lies Podcast.
And if you want to send us an email, send us one at bookofliespodcast@gmail.com.
Okay?
Bye-bye!
So what are some things that you want to, if you had 2 questions when you die, what would they be? If you would like to find out the answers to, or you want to find out what happened to your pink Converse, like myself. I lost my favorite pair of pink Converse when I was 8 or 9.
Wait, do you call them Converse?
Yeah.
Isn't it Converse?
Potato.
Really?
I don't know.
Converse. I've never heard that.
Converse. I think it's just a lazy way of saying it when you don't want to like punch up that tongue.
Like human?
Human? No.
What would I want to know? Let's make this episode about near-death experiences. I like those.
Okay, let's just decide in the moment. How's that?
Yeah.
There are a lot of near-death experiences. My favorite is from Nancy Rhines, Rynes. Look her up. I think we will eventually have her as a guest on the show.
Really?
Says my intuition.
Your future brain. Good. I like it.
Yes.
What's
and
her story?
She was writing. She was an atheist. Her little tagline is "the atheist who went to heaven." Although heaven scares a lot of people, that word and concept, and she still, she calls it a spiritual place. She says, I don't have any other word for it, so I don't know what to call it. But she was writing, I think it was in Oregon. She was working as some kind of a very medical, scientific job of doing whatever, writing for scientific journals or something. Mm-hmm. And she was riding her bicycle. She rides a bike on the weekends and was riding to go up into a trail. So it was on the road. It was kind of benign. She's done it a million times. And a woman was in a Bronco type vehicle and was texting and ran into her and ended up dragging her under the car for a while.
Oh my God. When was this?
I want to say
80s?
2012 or so. I don't know.
Oh, recent. Okay. This happened in 2014.
And then, so she said right there, she all of a sudden was looking down at what she knew was her body but had no connection to it. But she watched a man come over and then someone else come over and try to resuscitate her. And then a crowd gathered around her. And she goes, oh, that's me. That's my body. But why am I here? And she was watching everyone rush to her aid. And
this is what I always hear. They can float above their body. That's so crazy. Whoops.
This happens all the time in hospitals. But, and some people go, oh, well, that's just your brain playing tricks where, you're absorbing something and you might remember it later. But people can actually float outside down the hallway and see that they're brother went and got a Snickers bar from the stuff that nobody else would know. They could see what's in drawers and what people are saying. Yeah, it happens. I've watched over probably 400 of these because I'm fascinated by it and read books and So she, all of a sudden, there's this whooshing feeling, and she goes back into her body, and then the next thing she knows, she's in the hospital, and they tell her, she's in, I don't know if it's traction, or she must have been in the emergency room, and she had all these, broken bones everywhere in her body and her spine and everything. It was awful, and the anesthesiologist gave her too much, I believe, and she died again.
No.
No, she found out she was allergic to it. That's what it was, which happens in a lot of these stories, by the way. Near-death experiences is a lot of times people don't know they're allergic to the stuff they're getting.
Wow.
And they will die. And so then she goes on this whole journey, and you can find out in more detail, but basically she was met by a woman who, you can't really hear the voice, but she was downloaded information about what is the purpose of her life and how some of the secrets of the universe. And it was this translucent figure, silvery and tall. And it was the greatest feeling of peace and love, and had a little life review, which you hear about a lot. And then basically
your life
came back.
Flashes in front of you kind of thing. You see your whole life.
Yeah, a lot of people will see. This was a common thing, is that you'll see the pain that you've caused other people. You will feel if you were mean to someone, you feel what they felt. And if I remember one story was this guy who he released a can of bees on someone and thought it was funny, and the bees stung that person. And then he said he felt all those bee stings, and everything happens in an instant.
What?
So you're feeling all this. They say that there's no time, there's no linear time like we have on Earth. There's this all at once you're being given information. So who knows how long it really was? If it was seconds, but it feels like they could be up there for hours, days. Nobody knows. But then they might have only died for 3 minutes.
Wow.
And so she came back and wrote a book about her experience and her whole mission. And this is really common, that you quit your job. If it was an unsatisfying job, most of the times people quit, and they'll end up doing more volunteer work or more service-oriented work, or they'll write books, and their whole mission is to share the message that they got. And mostly it's that we're here on Earth to love each other and to help each other out. And it's all about the stuff that we know somewhere at the basis of most
the golden rule,
spiritual teachings. Yeah.
Wow. So when she came back, did she say, I was told to tell people this? Is it kind of this, this is your mission? Or was it just that's how she felt like doing that?
No, they said that she goes, I want to stay here. I think her story was that she wanted to stay. Most people don't want to go back because it's so wonderful. And then they oftentimes, whoever that they is, if it's a being, a lot of people see beings, a lot of people see Jesus or Buddha or their grandma or someone they don't know. But a lot of people see these translucent beings. That's common.
Really?
And a lot of them get the message that you're not ready to go and you need to go back and spread this word. In her case, it was to spread the message of love.
Wow.
And so she quit her job and started painting, and she has gorgeous oil paintings of nature and some people. It's really cool. Nancy Rhines, Rynes. I'm not getting a kickback from her. I just really like this woman because she's really straightforward, and I believe her implicitly. She's really cool.
Oh my gosh. So what would a naysayer say to her? I wonder what kind of arguments she's
a
come
good
up against.
friend of mine is a naysayer, because I always tell this story of her, and I'm like, watch this video. She's awesome. But when you die, your brain releases a chemical called DMT, which they call, it's a drug that they've now been able to, in the drug world, they can synthesize this and people take it, and you can go on this drug trip, hallucinatory, and it's called the ego death. It's the chemicals that get released before you die. So that is a theory that your brain is doing a weird thing where you think that you've died and come back. But all these people who, they're like, yeah, I've taken drugs. I know what it's like to go on a mushroom trip or a LSD trip or whatever. And for some reason with this kind of trip, they can recall they could recall it for the rest of their lives exactly how it happened. They don't lose any memory of it.
What?
And they could recall it as if it happened yesterday. And it's so real that it's inexplicable. But you kind of are going on faith of you have to believe these people. But I've watched so many of them that I thought it was my cat rubbing up against me, and it's just the blanket that's over my head that I touched with my leg, and I started petting it, and I realized it's the blanket on my leg.
Now who's losing it?
Oh, it's the heat.
Now wait.
Anyway.
Can you tell me this? The people who have taken the drugs, do they have the perfect memory of their drug trip the same way?
No, that was the difference
Okay.
that a lot of people say is we have taken drugs, but we also died, and this is nothing like that because you can recall every second of what happened, and you can recall it 30 years from the time it. I mean, when you actually watch this stuff, you'll see people, oftentimes they start crying and they go, I'm sorry, it's the most emotional thing and it's like, you could tell, you know, I'm a good judge of character, I think, and acting and all that stuff. And I could tell when people are fake acting. My friend sent me the show called Dating or something, and she was like, no, it's real. These people, they go out on dates and it's their first date and this and that. And it looks as if it's very real, but I could tell when people are acting. And then I looked it up and researched, and those people were all secretly buried on the internet, had acting resumes somewhere.
See?
So, by the way, look at that show. It's not real. But I could tell. These people
start
are
a detective
real.
agency for that exact thing.
I can tell.
That's
The
good.
only ones that are tricky are the sociopaths and psychopaths. Those are a little bit harder to detect. Although not
Interesting.
really. They end up blowing their cover. Anyway, go ahead.
you got their number now, you know.
Yeah. I
Wow.
can detect, sniff out those rats. So anyway,
That's crazy.
Yeah. What do you think?
I love it. I love the concept of it. I don't know as much as you do about it. I did watch the video from Anita Norjani. Is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a TED Talk. And I loved it. And I wrote down her 5 messages of what she brought back to.
She died, yeah.
Yeah. Should I look them up really quick?
Well, we are going to be doing a documentary, sister, on this subject, as well as other areas of death.
You put it
and
out
what
there
our relationship is. Yeah, we put it out. I mean, we're going to do it, and we already have a couple interviews that are ready when this COVID passes, and so it'd be nice to look at death in our culture. What is our relationship to death?
Right.
And get some of these people's stories, and also,
Right.
other things.
I love
which
it.
We won't reveal. Watch
See?
the documentary.
Yay. I know. All right.
Yeah.
I just looked up Anita Morjani. She wrote a few books. Oh, it doesn't have a nice tight list here, but I'll take a picture of mine. I'll post it on social media. But basically, it's joy and love and laugh a lot and don't live in fear. You know, it's kind of all those same tenets of just be real, which I love. And I just keep it at my desk because when you have those moments, it's nice to look at. And
I have those moments a lot lately where
Right?
I know all this stuff of what I could be doing, but it's hard to conjure up a feeling of joy. And for me, at least in this pandemic, when life is like Groundhog's Day, it's a little rough.
It's hard.
I will just say.
I know.
Because so much inspiration comes from other people and experiences.
And you're an empath. You need that energy from other people, I think, to get moving and get ideas. Yeah, for sure. And you can only watch so many comedies to lighten things up too. It's just like, oh, okay. But
I know.
it is important to laugh. I don't know. It's a good thing. We watched Will Ferrell in that new Eurovision movie.
Oh, yeah. What'd you think?
I just love him. I think he's so funny. I mean, it's kind of a dorky movie, but what do you expect? And the kids loved it. And if we can find anything that the whole family can watch and laugh at, it's pretty great.
Like a miracle.
Yeah.
No more Adam Sandler. You put on that Don't Mess with the Zohan, and it got a little saucy for the kids, huh?
Zohan Sandler, what are you doing, dude? I thought he was like this nice dad. It's all about the sex jokes.
Wieners.
And he was like doing all the ladies' hair with the shampoo squirting and then romping around in the bathroom. It was so embarrassing. That's when we had our little family over. You were there. It's awful. Oh my God.
Would you have done it if you were with your family alone? Would you have pushed through? Was it
No, I would have shut it off right away. But I was like,
Okay.
I don't want to be the prude one. So I was letting it go a little long. But then I think they were thinking the same thing. So we were all uncomfortably watching it, even though we all wanted
I was
to
the one that
off.
I was like, do you want me to turn this off? Because everyone was like, no, it's okay. If you want to. No, I mean, only if you want to. I was like, do you guys just want this off? Like,
No, you
were so
finally pulled the
funny.
plug.
Yeah.
Sandler.
It was hilarious.
Oh,
now,
my
I
God.
can't tell because I would think, well, Toby, I feel like he's 14 and he
Yeah.
seems to be beyond, like, he can handle it, right? Or is
Yeah.
it still too weird?
Right. No, he can handle it. I think Elliot can even handle it. But like the poor other boy who was here was like, I don't know if they've even had that much of the talk yet. Yeah. So.
Now you're bridging that with your friend now they're going to have to go home and discuss what shampoo squirting on some old lady's face means.
I know.
Joelle, how could you?
I mean, I didn't know. It keeps happening too. Things keep coming up and you can't avoid it. It's like media. It's going to be out there. So
It's out there and it's available.
I know.
It's going to be interesting.
I know. It is.
All right. So anything else that you want to discuss? You were talking about Poway wait, you might want to save that for the teaching episode.
We may do a whole episode on this, but yeah, our town, we talked about this in our episode 79 called Let's Talk About Race, but we mentioned my city that I live in, Poway, does have kind of this real, white suburbia feeling and not super, I don't know, diverse, I guess, but then again, it kind of is. But apparently, there's a lot of racism going on behind the scenes, and so
also you live right by Santee, which is a huge white power KKK place.
Yes,
no?
right, yeah,
Ramona.
Yep.
So that's over the hill, but
right over the hills. There's like I don't know what it is, but there's some sort of thing going on over there. It's like the meth capital of San Diego, and it's KKK, white supremacy, all these weird.
Terrible groups.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
And every once in a while they'll go on a spree and spray paint swastikas in our town and I mean and it may even
where?
be
Is it targeted towards people?
Oh
or is
yeah,
it just
on
random?
synagogues. Yeah.
Oh jeez.
Because we have a bunch of churches right here too and synagogues, like all these multi-faith centers. And then
that's where you had the shooting, by the way.
We had the shooting in the synagogue. Yep. And but that kid was from a local little neighborhood on this side of the hill. So you can't just say, but he was, I think, what's the word when they get in, turn you
Not
on the internet.
fundamentalist, but.
Well, he was groomed from the internet or whatever. What am I trying to say?
Yeah, indoctrinated into a crazy.
Thank you. Yeah,
I
so.
can't remember the name.
Anyway, it's around and they created this Instagram page. So if anyone wants to go see it, it's called Black in PUSD, which stands for Poway Unified School District. Black in PUSD on Instagram. And it's an anonymous place where you can click the link and fill out the form. It's a Google form that's anonymous. And just write down your experiences of anything that's happened in a Poway school to you or that you know of, or if you're a teacher or a parent, whatever. And, then they can turn around and post it without your name. And it's crazy, the stories that are on there. It's so sad. It's like teachers are doing it. Students are doing it to each other. And I'm sure it's nothing new. I'm sure people have had to deal with it. But just when you feel like, oh, we live in such a nice, sweet, safe town, but then you see the stories that are actually happening here, it's heartbreaking. So it's been good because we pass the phone around and read the different things that kids are saying, and then we talk about it, the 13-year-old and 14-year-old and
With the kids?
Mm-hmm. And,
Good.
Just like, what do you guys think about that? And it's not just Black. It's also branched out to be like, religion. Like, oh, yeah, I'm Muslim or I'm Asian, and people say this to me. And
So I want to counter your feelings of mom shame with the fact that you're really very good you've been really great about doing things like that. You've been what is your other? You've been taking the kids. You're doing Meals on Wheels, where you take the kids and you're taking them to Black communities, right?
Yeah, I haven't.
Am I wrong or?
Well, I haven't branched out off my little route yet, but that's the plan.
Because you just started, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of cute. Even in our area, we have, I think we have one of every color of the rainbow. We have a little Asian lady. We have a little Indian lady. We have a Black lady. We have an old white guy. We have an old Black guy. So we're serving meals to all sorts of people just here. So it is nice, and the kids are helping.
So Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
Go do that. People could volunteer right away. I called to do it also, and then I started this crazy schooling, which is taking over. It's like a full-time job, but as soon as that's over, you could volunteer even one day a week from like 8 o'clock till 12, or they give you a little window.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so desperate for people.
Like my route is just from 10 to 12. It's real quick.
Wow.
Depending on the day and how many meals, but it's super easy and sweet. And, we do the social distance thing. We mask up and we're very, very safe and put it in a little sterile bag and leave it on their handle. But then you do a well check. You kind of make sure they come to the door and you say hello and you kind of peek around if you can and say, how's everything doing?
Are all 3 kids going with you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
That's
Dave
so
comes.
sweet.
Dave's the driver. He has his little route mapped out. It's cute. It's a really nice family thing we do on the weekends, and it's wonderful because I think these people, a lot of times this is maybe the only interaction they have, and geez, for me, this is the only interaction I have. I'm not.
You're
seeing
loving
anything
it. They're like, get this lady off my porch. She keeps telling me things.
Like, so tell me, are you interested in?
gosh.
Can I interview you for a podcast? No.
Yeah.
But it's sweet. And then they see the kids, and I think that's cute too. So they ask them, how's everything going? But it's kind of cute too because some of them, they must have memory issues too because they forget, and they ask the same questions each time. And so we walk away from the door and the kids are like, but I told him that last time. I'm like, well, and so it just leads to all these conversations. So I am trying to expose them to different things and
This
talk
is
about it.
great. You're actually showing up and doing it though, and that's what I want to commend you for. And
Thank
you're taking
you.
the kids, and you're also doing it with the Democratic. What is the thank you? You should put this stuff because this is
I
all my
know.
friends that I was with that day. They were like, "How do we get a link to that? How do we sign up? What is it?"
You know who I posted something about it as a response on a tweet, and I follow. Do you know the show Baskets?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The best show ever.
Zach Galifianakis. Yeah, he's great. He plays this clown, but it's kind of like this dark comedy, and Louis Anderson's in it. It's so good. It's like my favorite show. It's
So
on
good.
FX. Look it up. But the friend of his is played by Martha Kelly, and she's a comedian. She plays Chip Baskett's kind of not love interest, but they're friends. But I think she likes him, but he keeps dismissing her anyway. They're really cute. And she's very sweet, and she's kind of like mousy and quiet. And what else has she been in? Do you know who she is?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I can't remember. I did see her in something recently, but I think it was off of the Baskets fame. She's popped up in a couple things.
Right, yeah.
But she was a comedian for a long time. I think she's been in other things. You can look her up.
Yeah, she's great. So anyway, so I followed her, and she was posting about, just the state of politics right now and how much she hates everything, and she feels like
Trump.
She feels.
I'll say it. You don't have to say anything.
Okay.
Trump.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm trying to be nonpartisan here, but truth is,
I'll be
everybody,
partisan.
he's a moron. It's awful. He's just so
Lunatic.
awful. And anyway, so I wrote back and said, something I did to feel better about stuff is to do this postcards to voters.org. Just sign up there. And while you watch TV at night or watch movies at night, you can just write postcards, and they go out to underrepresented counties where people may not be able to get to the polling booths. And this way they can request a mail-in ballot. A mail-in ballot gets sent to them. They can fill it out, mail it back. Voila, done. And these are counties that if people can flip it blue, it might actually help Democrats win. So it feels good. And I've sent out a ton of postcards. And then so Martha Kelly wrote back and she goes, thank you. I'm going to do it. So even Martha Kelly's going to do it. So we're affecting the world, Weens.
She's awesome. You guys have to, I'm sorry, but I would do whatever she would want us to do too because she's great.
Yeah.
She's the best, deadpan, hilarious
love her. And
actress, comedian. Yeah.
A self-professed like cat lover, cat lady. She
I
posts
love it.
stuff about her cat and her dog all the time. But then
Love it.
she goes off on Trump and all this stuff. So just follow her on Twitter. She's hilarious, Martha Kelly. And yeah, it's good. So
Yay,
those are my
Joe.
little causes that keep me busy. And I know,
where do we put the shout out? Can you say what the link is or how we find it right now? Or do you have to put it on the website?
yeah, I'll do that. I'll post everything that we're talking about today on our show notes, but that is postcardstovoters.org. So
I don't know if people even know how to go to the show notes. Do they? Am I the only one that's dumb?
No.
Maybe?
Okay, everyone, here's how you go to the show notes. Go to mouseandweens.com and then look at the top of that page, and then you'll find the words show notes. And you click it, and then it has all of our show notes from all the episodes. So look it up by title of episode, and it's kind of like a blog. Like you click each title, and then it opens up the whole article, kind of. And that's where everything is posted. And I usually all the big links I try to put in our episode notes on whatever player you're listening to this on. So if you look at your Apple Podcast right now and click more information, it should open up with all the words about this episode.
Because I'm like the little ADD, just get me there and hear the content. So I just find where you could push play, and I don't really look at all this stuff unless it happens to be right below where you push play.
Right. Okay.
Otherwise, I don't click on anything else. But that's just me.
And I'm the nerd that reads the article from top to bottom and looks at all the fine print in all the corners and clicks around.
And that's why you are where you are, and that's why I've
Where
taken
am
a
I?
shortcut.
I'm in my closet with a microphone, and you're under a
I'm
blanket with your
I'm
microphone.
under a blanket in a 112 cottage in the middle of the armpit of, you know what? LA could be nice.
No, you live in a lovely home, and you have a
Thank
lovely
you.
yard by a lovely river with lovely friends. You have a great spot.
Thank you.
And you can walk to all your awesome places. It's great. So
you can always look at the bad, or you can always look at the good. It's all your choice. Choose wisely so you can make your life better when you're sitting under a hot, hot blanket in the middle of summer. Life is good.
Ethel Merman, is that you?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm the spirit. I don't know how she talks, but this kind of sounds like Catherine Hepburn from A Golden Pond. Just kidding. Oh, Lord, Lord.
No, I thought that
funny.
was your Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend.
Diamonds Are a Girl. That's Carol Channing. What's wrong with this place? Diamonds Are a Girl's best friend. That's a whole different person.
I mean,
I saw her at the Hotel Carlisle in New York.
Ooh.
And I was walking in. I was fresh in New York in 1997 or something, and I had heard Woody Allen was going to be playing with his band. I thought that was so cool that I could just go and pop into a hotel bar and see Woody Allen playing. And I was walking into the Hotel Carlisle, and it's beautiful. And it's kind of an iconic place where a lot of famous people have played jazz and whatnots and so forth. And I walk, and guess what I see? A lovely gentleman dressed to the nines who's really young. I'm guessing probably gay. And holding Carol Channing on his arm, who's dressed in this luxurious outfit. And she looks around and goes, "What's wrong with this place?" And then walks out. I was like, wow, I've arrived in New York City. It was so dumb, but I'll always remember that and that voice. And she was just annoyed. So, and then I went in and I sat and I was going to watch Woody Allen's band. I'm like, this is the best thing. You just pop in and see Woody Allen playing clarinet with his. And then they were like, you have to have a 2-drink minimum. I'm like, no problem. I had no money. And then I got 2 glasses of champagne. I thought it was a real classy broad. And the bill came, $1997, $45.
No.
That's how they get you.
Wiped you out for the week. Oh,
yeah.
Woody. Well, did he show up?
I pushed him and created a distraction and ran after I drank the glasses of champagne.
No.
I couldn't afford to pay the bill.
You
did
a dine-in ditch? Did you
I'm
really?
just kidding. No, I probably paid it, but wouldn't that have
I
been a
don't think
better
you're
story?
kidding. I think you really did.
Maybe I'm not. You just would never know with me. I'm a
You
real
just
sneaky
realized that you put
character.
yourself in the
girls.
distract. Hotel Carlisle,
Distract.
1991.
Hotel Carlisle, ladies and gentlemen,
Someone's
look it
gonna
up.
find you. Oh.
Do you remember going to New York real fast?
Yeah, no, I remember our celebrity stories that go nowhere.
Celebrity stories that go nowhere. Ding,
We had our George Wendt story. We had our Kid Rock story there.
Kid Rock looked like a Hungarian tourist. We ran into him. Yes,
that was exciting. We I kept seeing, what's his name? Gabriel
Byrne. Wait a second, that's my sighting.
No, I
see Gabriel Byrne in L.A. all the time.
Really? See, I used to see him every time I'd visit you in New York. I would see him filming on the corner or up on a crane.
Yeah, he would be here in L.A. I see. That's weird. We both have Gabriel Byrne sighting. Why did we never talk about this?
I don't know.
What does it mean? What is his purpose?
Ooh, let's tie it back.
Lives.
Near-death experience. If he shows up after I pass over, then we'll know. Oh.
He's a sign of something. And why is he in both of our lives constantly? I've seen him 5 times in L.A., just, at Starbucks once, sitting on the corner, saw him filming something else. And
I think I saw him, did I only visit you twice? I might have just visited you twice in New York, but I saw him both times. And I was like, there's that guy again, Gabriel Byrne.
What is with this guy? What if
funny.
It's one of our long-lost relatives that's in a Gabriel Byrne suit? If you guys don't know who he is, he was in
kind of like Grandpa Al. Could be him.
Yeah, he was in the movie Usual Suspects, The Usual Suspects with, Benicio del Toro was in that, Gabriel Byrne, and Kevin Spacey was the big, was the Kaiser Soze movie. Do you remember it?
I do. I need to see it again.
Okay, great. Let's close it out. I'm about to pass out.
All right. Okay. Well, should we throw in one more celebrity story that goes nowhere?
Sure.
Okay, let's do that here.
Okay.
Celebrity stories that go nowhere.
Okay, what is your name?
My name is Sage Orvis.
Okay.
All right, great. So, this was in high school. I was on something called the father-daughter ski trip, where a bunch of fathers from my high school take their daughters on a ski trip. Pretty self-explanatory. And my friend was on the ski team at the place that we were at, so she has the connections. So one day we're skiing around, time for lunch, and she asks if we want to go to the super exclusive secret restaurant at the resort. So of course we say yes, and we go, and as we're taking our boots off, we see the boots of a Jonas brother. And we're like, holy shit, am I allowed to swear on this podcast?
Yeah.
All right, holy shit, Jonas brothers are at this restaurant right now.
How did you see that they were Jonas Brothers boots?
Well, because you have to write the name of your boot on the boot, since they're all rentals and they all look the same. And one of them said, like, Joe Jonas. And we're like, wow, first of all, bold to just put your real name on there. But second of all, this is very exciting. So we go into the restaurant, and lo and behold, there, Kevin and Joe Jonas are eating lunch. We don't know where Nick is. He's doing his own thing. But because we're in like a nice restaurant, we want to be respectful and not like go up to them or anything. So I just watch them eat their lunch and get their food until I go to use the restroom, and it's a unisex restroom. And as I walk out, who's next in line but none other than Joe Jonas, who I hold the door open for. Our butts touch the same seat is all I have to say, and that is my celebrity story.
So basically Joe Jonas is a seat sitter.
Well, I don't know for sure.
But that's the fantasy that you have, and I don't want to take that away from you. That's beautiful. Thank you, Sage.
Thank you for listening to Mouse and Weens. You can find all of our stuff at mouseandweens.com. That's where our show notes will be. Please follow us on all the social media at Mouse and Weens. You need to spell it out. Thank you for our patrons, and a big special shout out to Unpredictably Us podcast with Christy and Athena. They're amazing. They're 2 women going through life's adventures, and they never know where it's going to take them. And we just love them very much. So Unpredictably Us. Please visit our Patreon to get this episode without any ads, and that is patreon.com/mouseandweens. And do consider volunteering. Meals on Wheels would love you. Postcards to voters.org would love you, and anything that helps the world be a better place. We love you. Bye.
Everybody, we love you.
Things are looking gray. Clouds roll by each day. Can't see through the air. Fog won't go away. Even though it seems we're living in a dream, things aren't as bad as they seem. Things are looking grim, lights are growing dim. When we're here without, we must look within. Even though we're in the middle of a scene, things just a little out of whack. But soon the world will fall back into place. Until then I'd love to fix your mask, then long to see the rest of your face. So when the world is blue, there's no looking through. Life is but a dream, this has all come true. Even though the moon still shines all her beams, we still have to wait for a vaccine. Things may not be great, but let's not overstate. Things aren't as bad as they seem. Things aren't as bad as they seem.